James Bond 007 Goldeneye review. First off, I have to say that the reason I had this review was because I watched recently Roger Moore passed away, the oldest James Bond, the third James Bond, the second one in multiple films, and for The Spy Who Loved Me and a whole bunch of films. I just also remember that watching it, I really enjoyed the 80s theme songs. Then rewatching For Your Eyes Only theme song, and then License to Kill, I decided to go and watch License to Kill. Do a pretty lengthy review on that, the pros and cons of it. Before, I thought License to Kill was one of the best Bonds. I really enjoyed it growing up. Or thought, because it doesn't even have the human heart scene that I thought was in that film. It wasn't as dark as I thought it was going to be, and I'll get into that, why there's some negatives there. And then watching, this is actually a shout out to New Ponzor, my subscriber, because he stated multiple times that he really enjoyed Goldeneye because of the whole space thing, and I was thinking, it's interesting. They have the whole "you only live twice" Moonraker aspect, which is classic Bond, the space station in space that destroys the world. And they put that in Goldeneye, which I found interesting. There's a lot of homages. That's not what I wanted to talk about, though, but I'm trying to remember any of them off my top of my head. Anti-Russian stuff from the Roger Moore era. But overall, it was a very good evolution of Bond in the Pierce Brosnan era. And I don't even think it had that much to do with Brosnan himself. Like, people who play the video game know what I'm talking about. Like, when you go in the ventilation shafts.
Beg your pardon. Forgot to knock.
But that's something that's never explored in old Roger Moore, Sean Connery, George Lazenby, Timothy Dalton, James Bond.
Beg your pardon. Forgot to knock.
The fact that they had the camera in the vents was very interesting. It's a very visual film, and I think that's its strengths. James Bond's stunt double crashing through the glass, and then later on you see Brosnan knocking the glass off his suit. That's just great, you know. Obviously, they put a lot of care in that, considering that the stunt double should be the one with the glass, not him. The scenes where they're shooting through where the Russians are shooting through the archives of I forget the name of the city, St. Petersburg prison or something. That was really good too. Like, you see the cameras going from left to right, chasing after Bond and Natalia. They're going through the library. I wonder if there's even a little bit of Spy Who Loved Me with Natalia being a Russian. I mean, you don't even think about it because, like, it was a modernized Bond, but, like, that was basically Spy Who Loved Me with a Russian spy. Of course, she doesn't have, like, a backstory with him. Shooting through the glass. There's a lot of car chase scenes, and it's just filmed a lot differently. It's not the Ken Adams type production sets that have more modernized, more Mission Impossible like. I definitely feel those impact from Mission Impossible, especially with the ventilation scenes in Goldeneye, which I think definitely had an impact on how people enjoyed those films. I still think there's certain weaknesses, like Xenia on the top, although enjoyable, is sort of over the top. That I didn't mean to do that pun, but you know, her gimmick's pretty low humor. Like, it's not very sophisticated. She sort of reminds me of who could have been like that from Russia with Love, Final Enemy in the Sean Connery film. I think that was about it for homages. Trevelyan was an interesting villain because he's like a former double agent. All about money. Janice. I'm trying to remember if that's sort of like a Spectre organization, but I'm not really sure if it is. You have homages to the classic Bonds with like the car chase scene. It's shot a little bit darker. That's pretty much it. It was a pretty cool Bond. I really enjoyed it. More of action, less about character. Like, I don't know if any James Bond film has a lot of character in it. Like, he kills people. I don't know. There's a little bit more. I don't know. I guess it's always through his humor that he does the James Bond characterizations. Like him playing Baccarat. You get to really see him. He doesn't really show any remorse for killing his former double agent. I think that's probably one of the more weaknesses of the film, actually. I didn't write it in my notes, but in my former notes I wrote this down. Like, they don't bring up at all that he has to kill a former double agent. He doesn't have a philosophical point where he's like, could be me or anything, and people enjoy that, but like, I feel like that's like, I didn't feel like it was played off as if, you know, he's this tough guy, so you don't want to show an emotion. I feel like it was just action film garbage. Like, it wasn't done like Commando or any of the 80s action films that were very intellectual by Arnold Schwarzenegger, or Predator or stuff like that, or Terminator or Alien. It seemed more like they just want to put a whole bunch of action in the film. And then Trevelyan's death is terrible. He gets killed by a satellite.
for England, James.
After he falls off the satellite, like, you can't survive from that. Like, how are you going to explain that? But again, I think it was Marlon Campbell who did the film. He's a visual director. Like, he has a scene where Trevelyan gets this awesome one-liner where he survived, and he's like, and Boris is invisible. Yeah, that's pretty dumb too. But I don't know. He's more of a visual thing, and it's a very entertaining film. I am invincible. What do you say? What's just another word for your bottom? Never intellectually stimulated. And then again, I don't know if any of the Bonds were like. They're more about characters. This one had a lot of action, and I see why people like this Brosnan film opposed to like the Timothy Dalton films. Although it wasn't necessarily Dalton's fault. Brosnan had a lot of action to do. Dalton, at least in License to Kill, I didn't see The Living Daylights, but in License to Kill, he doesn't have much to do action-wise. He's more. There's a very plot-driven film. Some of its visuals are very good too. But on the other hand, Goldeneye saved the franchise. It could have been sold, and kept going.